All right, let's get some reaction to the story now. We're joined by Corruption Watch's Head of Legal and Investigations, Karam Singh. Karam, good morning to you. Some reaction to this arrest, Rajesh and Atul Gupta being arrested in Dubai.
Yeah, well, I think it's taken many of us by surprise. It wasn't something that we were expecting to happen now, although a lot of things had been put in place to ensure that it could happen. We know that Interpol had issued the red notices. We know that there had been some long-standing negotiations around the formation of an extradition treaty. And of course, we know that the MPA had enrolled charges against these brothers in relationship to the procurement fraud in the Free State. So it's a very positive development, and hopefully it takes us further down the line in terms of pushing for accountability for state capture.
And as much as it's positive, I mean, we saw Kosatu giving out their reaction, saying they're hoping it's not going to give false hope to South Africa, because at the same time the department is reiterating that extradition is quite a lengthy process.
Yeah, look, I mean, the UAE also has a system of rule of law, which the Guptas will be able to utilize. We know that they've laundered lots of money into Dubai out of South Africa so they can pay for the best lawyers. So, they're going to use every thing that's available to them to try to avoid this extradition. But hopefully the charges against them are sufficient. We can rely upon the legal system in the UAE and the treaty to do its work, and let them come and face charges. Let them come to South Africa and face the charges and prove their innocence if that's their case.
And will we see the wheels of justice continuing to turn here? Karam, do you have confidence in South Africa's justice system to continue with their relations with the UAE to ensure that they do account for, of course, their allegations against them in the country?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the extradition process will now be a matter between the Department of Justice and the MPA and the relevant officials in the UAE. So, yeah, we're going to just have to let the wheels of justice turn with regard to that. We can't hold a trial against the Guptas in Dubai. They have to be present in South Africa, and that's why we have an extradition treaty. South Africa is also a signatory to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, as is the Emirates and the UAE. So it's really on the UAE and its legal system now to deliver the Guptas back to South Africa.
Yeah, I remember when the story broke yesterday, we were reading about it. It seems the department was quite hesitant to make any confirmation, before they only, I think, confirmed the news probably a few hours later on that indeed they'd been arrested. What sensitivity, does the Justice Department or even the Correctional Service Department have to handle this case with? Because, as mentioned, with the state capture report, and commission rather now concluded, South Africans would have actually preferred to see, Atul and Rajesh Gupta, the Gupta brothers, accounting at the commission. So what sensitivity is South Africa, working alongside now legally, so not to literally, mess this up?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the sensitivity is really the country-to-country relationship between South Africa and the Emirates, and ensuring that, we respect their system and their rule of law, and the fact that, we're trying to extradite suspects who are residing in their jurisdiction. So I think that's where the sensitivity comes in, where we kind of move into a space between the kind of formal legal machinations and a kind of space of diplomacy. Once they get back into South Africa, then the ball's very much back in our court, and it shouldn't really be a matter of sensitivities. It should be a matter of how strong are the charges against them. But we're not there. We're not there yet, and I think those who are calling for us to be optimistic and cautious, it's understandable that they're saying that, because it's been such a long time. We've been through a long commission of inquiry. We've been through over 10 years of state capture, and up to this point, we've had no successful prosecutions in this space. So, yeah, it requires some patience. It's going to require some diplomacy, and there's still a few hurdles we're going to have to overcome before we see the Gupta brothers in the dock in the Free State.
Now, and just before I let you go, I mean, we know that the Guptas at least comprise of, you know, Ajay, Rajesh and Atul. Any idea from your side as to why you think only 2 out of the 3 brothers were arrested? There hasn't been any word of confirmation whether or not Ajay Gupta has been arrested as well.
Yeah, I can only speculate on that in the same way that you could. Possibly he's not currently in Dubai. You know, possibly I could only speculate. So it's difficult to say. I think that's also a developing story that we're going to have to watch on because, yeah, there are other implicated persons, including former President Jacob Zuma, you know, who've yet to be charged. So, you know, we'll wait for those charges to come.
We appreciate you speaking to us this morning. Corruption Watch's head of legal and investigations, Karam Singh, thank you so much for speaking to us.